I, 32F, cheated on my husband, 34M, during a business trip and confessed as soon as I returned home. It was a brief fling with a man I met while on the trip. He was a representative from another branch who had come for the negotiation. The trip lasted 4 days with 2 additional days for traveling in and out. I spent 3 days with this man, 2 days in his hotel room and 1 in mine. I felt disgusted and used even while I was with him. I do not know why I did it, and once it was time for me to return back to our real lives was when the reality sank in. I called my husband and broke down. He was beyond hurt but wanted to give our relationship a chance because he was under the impression it was a one-night stand and I was wasted. For the past 6 weeks, we attempted reconciliation and we went to counseling as well. During our last session, he confessed that he was ready to move on with our relationship and pretend the affair never happened. I guess I took things for granted after that because I made some mistakes. I became too relaxed, too open. Somehow I got drunk one day and let it come out that I spent 3 days with him. I realized it as soon as I said it, but it was just too late to stop. He started to pry more and more, and I had to tell the whole truth. Despite our efforts of trying to reconcile, he recently asked for a divorce. He said I'm used now, and he doesn't want me anymore, that he won't have someone like me be the mother of his children. I understand the depth of his pain, and I'm willing to make sacrifices to save our marriage, but it seems too late. He's made it clear he's done, and I feel worthless without him. I'm haunted by the thought of him moving on and starting a family with someone else, that some other woman would take my place in the future I envision for us. It's devastating. I've thought of ending it all, but I do not want to cause him any more trauma. I do not know why I'm writing this here, but I wanted to get this out. Please be kind to me. Story 2. I'm about a week out from D-Day of my BF, 26M, finding out I, 25F, cheated both physically and emotionally. Our relationship, 4 years, had been very broken for a while, with him being completely emotionally shut off and neglectful for a long time, while I begged him to be emotionally available and connect with me, sometimes to the point of being toxic in my attempts. He then gaslighted me for about a year that he was emotionally neglecting me, to the point where I stopped believing myself that it was happening. I was on a study abroad, and it felt really good to have someone who did care about me and show interest, not just sexual, but in me. And at a really low mental health state, some who cared and showed me emotional support when my boyfriend had not done that in a long time. He found proof and confronted me, which I then came clean about and have been going back and forth for a few days via email/text/phone calls since I am still abroad. He is coming tomorrow to see me because of our previously planned trip, and I'll be coming home for real in about 10 days. My biggest issue right now is that I am holding myself accountable, taking steps to change and fill all his needs. But because of my coping skills, cheating, that I used to cope with feeling emotionally neglected, my hurt and anger is not being addressed at all, and I am not receiving any love or support. So really the same thing that caused me to pull away and then cheat is being doubled down on. He says it's just for now while he processes, but it is really tough and raw for me. Edited to add, I know that cheating was not a solution and was not an answer to the problems we were having. It was my shitty coping skill to deal with all of the factors going on. It goes without saying that I know that cheating was an extreme violation of trust and was not the proper response to coping with my feelings. And I am not blaming him for causing my cheating. Just stating that the situation of emotional neglect within our relationship caused me to feel distanced. Edit, the affair lasted from meeting them/emotional cheating, then physical, from end of October to last week, so 3 months. I am not speaking with AP, he has been blocked on every platform. He is friends with some of my flatmates, but I made it clear to them that I don't want to see him again for the next few weeks that I'm in the country, and to please make that clear to him if he asks them to let him in. I had been going to IC before, but due to insurance and being abroad, I had to stop while I was here. I think the feeling is just a lot of anger on my part at myself that I felt so neglected and gaslighted for so long before. And because now of this, I will just only continue to not have those needs filled. Because I do have an okay support system, otherwise I just had zero support or emotional engagement from him. For about a year now, I've felt like I was dating a zombie, which he admits to and acknowledges gaslighting me about. And now I obviously just continue to be feeling that way because now I've hurt him very deeply through my actions. So it's not that I'm wanting support necessarily from him about this. It's just I feel like he's still a zombie and will be for a long time. And I'm angry at myself for causing that to only continue. Edit 2, my main concern that I was looking for support here for was about dealing with feeling that we had tons of issues beforehand on both sides, but specifically that I begged him for over a year to communicate with me more, to not lash out to me, to be more emotionally intimate with me, and not gaslight me about the emotional neglect I was experiencing. I am aware and staying accountable for the fact that my actions were not caused by or a deserving action in response to those. But it is a factor in our healing because I feel that it needs to be addressed in order for us to reconcile, which we both want. And he acknowledges and agrees that he did all of these things. I never stated that this caused me to cheat, but more that it caused me to pull away and caused me to feel distanced. Then I made choices which I am aware were wrong and I am working through and staying accountable for. Really what I'm looking for, so if you have resources for that, I would appreciate it, is how to balance healing when both parties admit and acknowledge they contributed to a very, very broken relationship beforehand that involved emotional neglect. I never said this was my solution to anything. I said I used it to cope poorly, but it was not my solution. I knew it would not fix our relationship, but hoped naively that it would keep me afloat mentally while I was gone. The right thing to do was to leave. If he was that unavailable emotionally, why stay with him? Instead, you made the issue worse. You traumatized him and stained your reputation. This will come back and bite you in the arse in all your future relationships as well. Make a lesson of this. In future, if your man isn't fulfilling your needs, simply leave. Comments. He probably can't be your emotional support while he's dealing with his own stuff. Do you have a friend you can lean on? The fuck your feelings crowd will say that your feelings don't matter, but whether you move forward alone or in reconciliation, you're going to need to start healing and getting to the bottom of why you did what you did, aside from the obvious context you've provided. Find a therapist and work out your feelings there. At some point, he may be able to act as emotional support, but not yet. To be transparent, you probably won't receive the support you need from your BS for a really long time. They aren't required to support you because now is the time for them to focus on their own healing. Now is also the time for you to help work towards their healing. With that being said, that doesn't mean you shouldn't get support. I'd recommend going to IC ASAP to talk about your relationship and your coping mechanisms. Try to find the root cause of all of it and figure out why cheating was the way you went. Learn new coping mechanisms and how to support your partner during this time. Your partner's healing should be first. The absolute truth is that nothing at all caused you to cheat. No matter what, no matter how shitty he was acting and treating you, there were tons of other ways to react to his treatment of you. All you did was to take the easy path. Now you have to deal with everything going on before you cheated on top of the righteous anger he now harbors for you. Nothing caused you to cheat. The closest you can come to that statement is that his treatment of you allowed you to cheat. Anyone is capable of infidelity. All it requires is a motivation and opportunity. You didn't have to accept the opportunity.